Every man has been in a room where someone spoke too much and lost everything because of it. In 480 BC, the most powerful king on earth ordered the sea whipped. 6 centuries later, on the Mongolian steppe, another ruler made entire cities surrender before he arrived. And only one of them died in his bed, surrounded by everything he built. By the end of this, you will understand why the most dangerous man in any room is rarely the loudest one in it. This is the threat that needs no voice. Power whispered is power multiplied. Every empire has two kinds of fear, the fear that comes from screaming, and the fear that comes from silence. One is borrowed, the other is owned. Most men chase borrowed power their entire lives, the dangerous ones build the owned kind, quietly, in private, where no one is watching. This was Xerxes I, heir to the greatest empire on earth. 8 million men army. The obedience of 100 nations. And still, it was not enough to be feared, he needed to be seen to be feared. When a storm destroyed his bridge over the Hellespont, he had the engineers put to death. Then ordered the sea punished in their place. He ordered the sea whipped. 300 lashes, chains thrown into the water to bind the ocean into submission. At Thermopylae, he sent messenger after messenger demanding the Spartans surrender. Leonidas sent back 2 words. Come and take them. Xerxes waited 4 days. Because he could not believe that 300 men were not afraid of him. He won at Thermopylae. He burned Athens, then lost everything at Salamis to a smaller fleet and a calmer mind. He returned to Persia. Retreated into his palace, spent his remaining years in paranoia, and was cut down by his own court. The ocean never submitted. History remembers him not as a god, but as a man afraid of being ignored. But there was another kind of ruler. One who never needed to raise his voice, because he had already built what Xerxes spent his whole life trying to prove. When Genghis Khan entered a room, he did not announce himself. No herald. No thundering entrance. No demand for attention. He sought. And the room rearranged itself around him. His enemies reported something strange. Before the Mongol armies arrived, before a single arrow was loosed, entire cities would simply open their gates. Not because they were threatened, but because of stories they had heard. Stories about a man who never raised his voice. Who never promised mercy he didn't give. Who never made a threat he didn't keep. The Mongol legal code, the Yasa, contained a simple principle. Speak only when your words will alter the outcome. Before that moment, silence. After that moment, silence again. This was not personality. This was doctrine. Trained. Designed. In council, his generals debated for hours. Genghis Khan listened. Then he would speak once, and no one spoke after him. That is not intimidation. That is gravity. You have felt this. In the presence of someone who didn't need to convince you of anything. Someone whose silence made your arguments sound hollow. Someone who didn't defend his position, because it was already self-evident. That was not charisma. That was the accumulated weight of thousands of kept promises. Words withheld when speaking would have felt good but changed nothing. Reactions refused when the world expected defense. There are 2 kinds of power. Borrowed, which demands to be seen. Owned, which needs no audience. The man with borrowed power performs constantly. Because the moment the performance stops, the power disappears. The man with owned power never performs. He simply is. The threat that needs no voice is built in private. In every word withheld when speaking would have felt good. In every moment of stillness when the world expected reaction. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is power refusing to spend itself cheaply. Genghis Khan built an empire that outlasted him by centuries. His name still carries weight without being shouted. Xerxes burned a city to feel powerful, and left behind only the memory of a king who whipped the sea. Stillness endures. Fury collapses. The man who owns his power never announces it. The man who borrows it can never stop, because the moment he stops, it is gone. Before you speak today, ask yourself, is this word building your gravity, or spending it? Are you still enough to let the room come to you? When you walk into a room, do you carry owned power, or are you still borrowing it from everyone who looks at you? The world is already taking notes. The only question is, what is it writing about you? The next time you open your mouth to fill silence, you will remember Xerxes. The next time you choose stillness, you will remember what Genghis Khan built. Master or Maverick? Comment below. Subscribe and study power, not just history.